You're watching the Coaches Roundtable on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Welcome to Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi, and welcome our guest, the most decorated wrestler in Seneca Valley history. 6 gold medals, 3 WPIL, and 3 straight state gold medals. Welcome wrestler Alejandro Herrera-Rondon. Alejandro, every time I read this, I'm so impressed. 175 career victories, 39-0 this season, and named the Pennsylvania Tournament Wrestler of the Year. When you look back at this, what do you think when you hear all this?
It's kind of crazy to look at because, I'm in the room every day. Like, of course I want to win a state title. I want to win all that stuff. But like before a tournament, you kind of skeptical. You just want to go out there and compete and have fun. And, once I started winning my first match, and I was like, all right, I'm not thinking past this. I won my semifinal match, and then I won my finals match. I'm a state champ. And then next thing you know, I'm OW, and it just, things kind of come together, which is really cool to look at sometimes because, you strive for these things. You want to be the best. You want to accomplish all these goals, but sometimes you have to be reasonable and be like, sometimes that could not happen. But for me, it did, and it is just because I've been grateful and I've been working hard, and with my support system, with my team, like just having the faith of always believing in them and believing God, and just like be able to just push every time, and then everything coming together, it will pay off. So that's what I try to tell other people, is just like the harder you work, those good things will come.
39-0, and it sounds like it was easy for you, but how did you keep yourself motivated? And how much everyone talks about being physically in shape, but how about the mental toughness that you needed to keep yourself going and primed for each match?
It was like, I wouldn't say it was an easy year at all, because COVID actually made it tough for us, because our coach didn't really like to hold us back this year. Like, we had a competition every 3 days. We didn't have time to kind of eat a lot. We kind of had to maintain our weight for 2 full months to compete, which it was like, I didn't cut very much this year, so it wasn't that bad for me. But for other guys on the team that were cutting, it was difficult. It was putting a toll on them, but we were up mentally tough anyway. So with this year, is just being able to just keep riding it out, and having fun. I think if you just have fun and not like hate what you're doing. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, wrestling is sometimes hard to have fun in, and if you just keep having that mental toughness, think about winning, keep thinking on that mat, like I honestly, I didn't even care about the undefeated season. Like, I wanted to go in and win a state title. That was really it. And if and it just played out like that. I haven't lost this year, so that was the ultimate goal, and I achieved that. And and it was great, because it was a goal that David set for my mind. I just wanted to win another state title, and the fact that I did go undefeated, it's a real nice accomplishment, and a real good cherry on top of that state championship.
Alejandro, you see with boxers and maybe MMA guys how they stare at one another. They try to do a psych job, so you know who you're going to wrestle. They know all about you. How much does that come into play, trying to psych your opponent out before you get started?
Well, that's the hardest thing about wrestling. You're in a bracket, you know who you're wrestling, you know who you're going to compete with. And, I think that just makes everyone better. Honestly, it's just like, it's more of a mental game. It's more of like, I don't have time to study this guy. The only time I know the only time I know what to do against this guy is during the match. And, I think that opens up your mind for any wrestler. It's just like, all right, well, you gotta feel him out first. You gotta know what you gotta do. You gotta know what's open, and pretty much like, you got to do that with anybody. And you can wrestle. You can go across the country and wrestle someone from North Dakota, like anybody could be tough. You just got to go out there and be smart with who you're wrestling and who you're competing with.
So you've competed at the 152-pound class the last few years, but you started off at a lighter class ranking. What are you looking for when you head to Oklahoma to wrestle for the Sooners? Are you going to go up a notch? You're going to try and stay at this weight class?
I think so for me, I think I'm gonna redshirt my freshman year and kind of take some time to develop into the college style and just trying to get stronger and bigger. So I think my goal is to, like, I wrestled 152 this year, but I think my goal weight class for the next 4 years will be either 156 or 157 or 165.
Are you aware of Spencer Lee, Franklin Regional wrestler, led the Iowa Hawkeyes to their 24th national championship? He was just named the National Wrestler of the Year. You aware of Spencer Lee? And if you are, how much of an inspiration is that for you headed to Oklahoma?
He is someone that I admire a lot because even though he's only a little guy, he makes all the little guys look like their little brothers. He bullies them around, and I like wrestling from top, and I try to take from stuff from his top game, and because he's one of the best in the country, or he is the best in the country, and his closest match in the NCAA tournament was 7-0, and that's something I strive for every day. I don't want to just win a national title. I want to dominate a national title. And, he kind of set the bar when it comes to that because no one really did that, like only a couple of people, beforehand, one of the greats now that are world champions. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to be a world Olympic champion when he gets out of
Alejandra, let me ask you, between now and when you head to Oklahoma, what will you be doing in the off season and getting yourself prepared?
Again, I will be able to wrestle in the Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic. I'll wrestle number one guy in the country in my weight class, and that's a fun event right now. And then after that, I'll probably be going into diving in freestyle. And then I'll go to like Virginia Beach and wrestle with my club team. And I'm actually gonna probably try to make a world team for freestyle this year and see how well that goes.
Well, Alejandra, we want to wish you a lot of luck. Congratulations on a fantastic career. 175 career wins at Seneca Valley, 39-0 this season. And all those gold medals, you're going to be able to start your own bank. We're going to follow your career when you head out to Oklahoma and hope you bring the Sooners and yourself a championship. Congratulations once again.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'll be right back with Ellen George.
High school sports, community events, all of your favorite local shows are calling the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel their home. Find out everything your neighborhood has to offer on Channel 100 or on YouTube. Spirit, town pride, local communities. This is the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
I am back, joined to my right by the Swami George Abraham, to my left by the Tiger Albert Campman. Guys, we've had so many great athletes over the years. Alejandro Herrera-Rondon, Seneca Valley's championship wrestler, 6 gold medals, 39-0 this year, the Pennsylvania Wrestler of the Year, headed to Oklahoma. And every time I look at his record, 175 career wins over 4 years, I'm just so impressed.
Yeah, he deserves to be on the show. When you discipline yourself as a wrestler, I'm always amazed with their discipline, the weight, how they eat, how they practice, and usually carries over into school. Usually they're great students also. It's amazing the self-discipline they have.
Well, once again, how we've been blessed over the years with just great athletes in our area.
Again, we have them again. It's amazing.
Well, let's start off with Spotlight and talk about great accomplishments. High school basketball championship, 6A girls, North Allegheny, 55, Springford, 40. The first loss of the season for Springford, and for North Allegheny, their first ever PIAA basketball title. Lizzie Gresh, the Penn recruit, had 22 points and 8 rebounds. Paige Morningstar, she contributed 16 points. For North Allegheny, 27 and won the PIAA title. Caps off a 5-year run that included 4 WPL titles. Gresh finishes her career at 1,509 points. And how about Paige Morningstar? She's headed to Louisville for volleyball. She finishes her North Allegheny career with 11 championships, 11 gold medals, 4 in basketball and 7 in volleyball. I mean, I don't know of anyone ever since we've been doing this show going on 16 years who's had that many gold medals.
I'm positive there hasn't been anybody. That streak. Adding back volleyball, they've always been unbelievable, but now they win a basketball one, that, which is unusual for any school. Jeez.
I watched that whole game.
She could play Division I basketball too, George?
Yeah,
Paige?
I would think so. Gresh killed it though. Jeez.
She's so good. She handles the ball.
She scores inside and out, and she can shoot. And, no, they had a very nice team. And I'll tell you what, they play defense.
Yeah, they've always played good defense.
Yeah.
They got young kids coming back.
They'll be good. Yeah.
The only game they lost on that 5-year run in WPL was, I believe, to when Peters Township had that great team. They lost to them 45-43. Finished down at the end. Peters made the foul shots.
They
to
had
win
a
the
little
game.
more firepower, I think, than that team. Like the last few teams were great defensively.
Yeah.
This team looked like they had a little more firepower from what I saw, because that team was undefeated down there.
Right, and ferocious on defense.
Absolutely.
Hey, high school track, Butler's Guinness Brown, he broke the school records in the 100 and 200 meters in the first outdoor meet against Knock and Pine Richland. He also holds the school's indoor records in these events. And for the girls, about the Butler girls, they're seeking their 4th straight WPL title. Emma Lehman of Butler, she won the 100 and 300 hurdles and anchored the winning 4x100 relay team versus Pine Richland and Knock. Ella Rottinghouse of Pine Richland, she won the 100 and 200 meters in the event. Rottinghouse, she is a field hockey recruit for Boston University. In girls lacrosse, Morgan Wise of Freeport, she had 9 goals. That's one game. Charlotte Stamper of Mars, 3 goals. Grace Wu of Mars, 3 goals. Mars just tremendous in every aspect of their athletic program.
Usually, you start off with the record at Butler. Usually, those records are broken late in the year.
When it gets warm.
When everybody's
Beginning.
Dude,
that tells me he's going to be serious all year.
He's good.
I heard the time was ridiculous for first time out.
Yeah, he's going to have so many schools after him.
That's
He's
what
real
I
strong
heard. The same. They
competitor.
must have really
He's
had a strong
outstanding
indoor season too to spring.
to advance right into that. And in baseball, Shane Thompson, Slippery Rock High School, a 2-hit, 10-0 shutout win over Clarion. Boys volleyball, Tyler Gillis of Butler, 13 kills. Caleb Wonar of Butler, 24 assists. College baseball, Slippery Rock University pitcher Ricky Minio out of Slippery Rock High School. He improved his record this season to 4-0 with an 8-1 win over Cal. The Rock has another good, solid baseball team.
Yeah, playing 2 doubleheaders a week, and you better have 15 pitchers.
Isn't that the truth?
There's some, yeah.
Hey, college news, track and field. You guys remember Mara Kimmel from Montauk High School? She is now a graduate student at the University of Notre Dame. And in her first track meet for the Fighting Irish, she threw the discus 52.58 meters. I'll let you work that out. To win the Raleigh relays. Her effort in her first track meet at Notre Dame is the 2nd best discus throw in school history.
Wow. That's pretty amazing that all these years and you step in and do that. Yeah, I mean, that's really good.
And she had a great career at Monotone, both the shot put and the discus, I believe. And then go graduate school and you're still competing is tremendous. In rowing, Pine Richland grad Gabby Kreger, she's a 5-year member of the University of Alabama rowing team. She's led the Crimson Tide to their highest ranking ever in the national rankings. The Crimson Tide ranked 8th. She is a graduate student in kinesiology. Not too bad for a girl that walked on for the rowing team, and she's in the first boat rowing and made the national rowing team last summer.
I think that's the first time rowing's made our
Rowing, yeah.
rowing's been our show.
If you know anything about it, how rigorous a sport
I could
that
imagine,
is.
yeah.
That's like riding the bike in the Tour de France.
Yeah, it's not,
to sit there and you
yeah.
see how they're built,
Oh, jeez.
how they're put
That
together.
upper body, yes.
I mean, I'm just amazing to hear someone from here just went down to University of Alabama, walked on, and made their rowing team.
Yeah, she happens to have a good football team to root for, too.
And her brother's a walk-on, Grant is a walk-on wide receiver.
There you go.
For the Tide.
There you go.
College football, how about Grove City, 24, Carnegie Mellon University, 14. The Wolverines moved to 2-0. Quarterback Josh S., 342 yards and a touchdown. I think he's thrown for nearly 700 in the first 2 games. And those wide receivers, Cameron Drake, he caught 10 for 171 in the TD, and Cody Gustafson, 8 for 127. They're both on pace. They're going to have 600-700 yards in this 5-game schedule.
Yeah, those guys are really tough. We've seen them in the past. Excellent receivers. And I was telling Al the other day, the job that they've done at Grove City from where they started with 0-10, just incredible.
Yeah, built this program up to where they're really, really tremendous. And the big game coming up, Westminster 2-0 now after a 52-21 trampling of Geneva. Quarterback Cole Kanitsa threw for 197 yards and 2 touchdowns. Running back Vincent Giles had 85 yards and 3 TDs. The 2 teams will meet Friday night, April the 9th, 7 p.m. at Grove City College. Be for first place in the President's Athletic Conference.
Yeah, with Case dropping out and Teal dropping out, they're having a shortened.
What's the 5-game season?
Yeah.
And if I understand, they're gonna meet April the 1st to decide what's going to happen in terms of letting people in for the contest coming up.
I hear they're loosening the restrictions April 1, but I don't know that.
All right, our stories of the week in the National Hockey League. The Pens, despite all the injuries that they're suffering, took 2 away from the first place Islanders, knocked them out of first, actually, beat them 6-3 on Sunday behind Brian Rust's hat trick, and then a 2-1 victory over the Islanders in the second meeting. Tristan Jarry injured, another injury. That's 4 or 5 key players out with injuries, but Casey DeSmith stepped in and saved 19 out of 20 shot attempts. The standings, the Caps 23-7-4, Islanders 22-10-4, and the Pens 23-11-2. They're bunched up there, 50 points for the Caps, 48 for the Islanders, and the Pens with 20 to play.
Yeah, they're right where they're supposed to be, right where I thought they'd be, and I like they're able to win defensive games now. Before they always had to win 5-4. They're winning some 3-1s, 2-1 scores, which I really like.
Yeah, and with the injuries to Malkin, and you don't know how long Jari's going to be out. They've had to work both the second and third lines. I'm impressed that they continue to play like this.
They make good trades. They make good deals. You never know if it's going to be a good deal till you see how they mesh. They've really meshed.
And when GM Ron Hextall took over, he said he wanted the team to get tougher, and evidently they're playing the way he likes.
Well, he's always a goalie likes defense in front of the net, and he was a goalie. So I always look for the Penguins. How quick are they clearing the puck in front of the net? They've done a great job getting the puck out of the defensive end.
Well, Major League Baseball opening day is April the 1st. The Pirates will open up in Chicago. Sports Illustrated has the Pirates at 57-105. Let me say this. I think the Pirates, from what I've seen in spring training, the bullpen's going to be decent. And David Bednar, he's done everything you could ask of someone in spring training to make the roster. Last time I checked, 7 scoreless innings and 14 Ks. But the starting pitching, when they say today go 5 innings, they'll be lucky that some of these guys will make 5 innings. Right, from what I could see, the Pirates starting pitching could be the worst in baseball.
Yeah, I would think it is. I mean, I've always been a cool guy a lot, but after cool, I don't see anybody, especially with Brault being hurt. It's a really weak team. It's the worst team I've seen them have since I've been following the Pirates. I can't imagine.
That 57 would be an over. That's the worst part. Their number's 54.5, I believe.
And let me ask you guys this: what are the chances that Gregory Plunko gets off to a great start that he'll be gone by the 1st of July?
Right now, I mean, if he does well.
It depends what his contract is.
$12 million, he makes the most.
And if anybody wants him.
No.
That's I don't know that. I mean, he's always had potential.
Well, let's just say he has 12, 15 home runs.
He'll be
50.
gone.
Yeah.
And of course, Todd Frazier why'd they pick him up? Let him go. They were effusive in their praise of picking up the veteran player, and now there's no room for him.
Because he's lousy. That's why. Because he's done. I mean, they got him. At one time,
they didn't know that when they signed him.
Well, they were trying anything. They were trying everything and anything just to field some backups because their bench is so weak. Think about it, no starting pitching and no bench. Those are two things. You're hoping their bullpen comes through with young guys.
And you gotta get there.
Yeah,
That's
so-
the key. I agree with you guys. I think the bullpen's okay.
The
But who's
bullpen's gonna be
You gotta
fine.
get there.
But the starting pitching is just, I don't know. Mitch Keller just been horrendous this spring. Maybe one good outing that he's had, but he's been, at one point his ERA was up over 11. And what does this tell you? Third baseman Key Brian Hayes, who they're talking about being the next star, he will not sign a contract extension. He's going to wait and see what happens. He knows.
He sees what's happening there. They had an interview with Nutting, they had Charrington. They'd always talk the good talk. Until I see it done, I'll believe it. Like they're talking about their farm system. I want to see how long they keep them. You know, they'll be good for 2 years and they'll let them go.
Well, I'm going to be redundant in saying this, but ever since 2015 when they sold that team off, you see that the fan interest has waned. And baseball 2021, just across the board, there is a waning interest there. Look at Sunday's PG, Gene Collier's column on the state of the game. Starting pitching, 3 to 5 innings. 3 to 5 innings, all based on analytics. Field positioning, all based on analytics. In the last full season, 2019, we've talked about this. It was a 12 straight season, a record for batters striking out. And in 2019, a whopping 42,000 K'd. Tony Gwynn in 95 struck out 15 times and nearly 600 at bat.
The game has passed me by. And what I tell everybody, I'm a dinosaur. I like baseball when it was played, the moving runners over, stealing bases, hitting triples and doubles. They're all out now.
Hit and run, double
Yeah,
steals.
No.
There's nothing that you can have a Campbell sitting in the dugout.
And
The laws he can get along with his players. Nobody. It's 7th inning is penciled in, 8th inning is penciled in, 9th inning is penciled. Only move you make is somewhere in the 5th, 6th inning if you decide to take the pitcher out. There's nothing else that is decided during the game.
well, it's one of the reasons why your favorite manager left Chicago.
Yeah. Look at me.
He was told before the game what to do. He said, what am I here for as a manager? And one of the best players in the game, shortstop Francisco Lindor of the Mets, says he's worried they're losing the human element. He said, they tell me where to play here, where to play there, everything based on analytics. He said the World Series game, the pitcher went the first 3 or 4 innings, gave up 1 or 2 hits, struck out 8. They took him out because of analytics.
It was embarrassing.
And,
I was never so upset.
That
But he
was-
took Snell out.
Yeah.
He had just blown away the,
What, 2 hits and 4
Yeah.
innings? And what, 8 Ks?
cost of the game.
In between innings, when I go to the game, I still go to games. In between batters, they pull a card out of their pocket.
Yeah, I got a card
To
number.
see where they play.
Where to
next
move,
batter.
to move.
It drives. Please.
One of the best
Please.
general managers around, Theo Epstein, even said he's concerned about where they're going. He said, I'm part to blame because I got involved in this analytics. He
Right.
said, but we're going so far. What some of the players are even saying, they're becoming robots.
They are robots. No, I mean that. They all. If you go to a game, if it's the 8th inning or the 1st inning, if you're down 2-1 in the 8th or 8-1 in the 8th, the guy swings exactly the same because that's what he's been told. Try to hit a home run.
Hey,
They have no idea.
Don't feel too sorry for the owners. Lindor turned down 10 years, $360 million yesterday.
Hey, listen, baseball, the 7-inning doubleheaders are here. Goodbye pitchers hitting is going to universal DH.
This year.
Not this year. It's
No,
coming.
not
It's
this
coming.
year.
It's coming. And I remember, I know I told this story before when Chuck Tanner sent up John Milner with the bases loaded, left-handed batter to face a left-handed pitcher, hit a grand slam. They said to Tanner after the game, Why would you send up a? He said, had a hunch.
There's no hunches.
No hunches.
No hunches
no,
anymore.
no.
So that's the human element that's lost in the game.
Yeah.
The way we liked it, the way we like to watch it, and I'll say this: my interest has waned.
Mine too.
I'm just
Mine
not
too.
as
No,
interested.
and that's my favorite sport. Baseball's my favorite sport. It really is frustrating me to that end, no question about it.
Strike out or nothing. Hey, one thing that's remained constant, I don't know if any of today's players will command this, but a 1952 Mickey Mantle Topps baseball card, mint condition, just sold for $5.2 million.
Yeah, those cards are big things right now.
I think of the ones I used to throw against the wall, you know.
I had them all, and they're all gone. I don't know where they are.
Oh, Lord.
NCAA basketball tournament, the men's Elite Eight coming up. Two great games coming up: Gonzaga versus USC, Michigan versus UCLA. UCLA beat Alabama, which Alabama. I've said it before. You guys could disagree. The women are better free throw shooters. Alabama lost that game at the line, 11-25.
Yeah, they all work on threes, and they all work on analytics, and they forget get to the foul line. There should be nobody playing college basketball less than 70%.
That one guy had it wasn't this far above. It had no chance of going in. It looked like a slingshot or something. It was so long, how much of a line.
Hey, this tournament's been terrific. Baylor defeats Arkansas. They go back to the Final Four for the first time since 1950. And Houston beat Oregon State. They go back to the finals for the first time since 1984 under the heyday of Guy Lewis and Phi Slamma Jamma. It's great to see different teams get back there.
Yeah, we like that too, George.
Baylor, real quick, the story, there was a murder on the team. They were punished so severely, they weren't allowed to play exhibition games. They would start the league out January 4th with no games.
I remember that.
I don't know how you guys see it. I'm so impressed with USC. This is the best USC team I've ever seen.
Well, what happened was the guy was smart. He hired Mobley as his assistant, so he gets his two sons. He hired the dad of the two
I was
sons.
telling Al, that kid, his dad was the Shippensburg coach when I was there, junior high. Now
Andy.
Efflet or something like that.
And how about
Enfield.
How about the job
Mick
is done at
absolutely.
UCLA?
He said the other day they bailed him out, Al. He wasn't going to foul, and he always fouls.
Hey,
He said the kids bailed him out.
Oh, really?
but one of the best
So he
games of
decided
the
not to foul him.
Yes.
one of the best games of the year. UConn 69, Baylor 67, and a controversy there. A foul at the end of the game not called. Once again, here we go. The officials say they don't want to decide the outcome, but when you don't make that call, you did decide the outcome. The foul should have been called. UConn goes on to their 13th straight Final Four. Arizona over Indiana. Interesting games coming up, Stanford and Louisville and South Carolina and Texas. And let me say this, the NCAA, inexcusable for the facilities that were not up to par for the women versus the men, including food provided for them, practice facilities, and weight training rooms. And no excuse
They
for
got
that
caught.
happening.
They got caught. They got caught with their pants down. No
How about the
question about it.
swag bag? You should see the swag bag. They got the girls got nothing and the guys got treasures.
You see some of the food that they put out there for
that-
the girls. It was
That's a joke.
absolutely.
They're going to pay for
absolutely
this.
terrible.
They're going to pay for this.
For this tournament, raking in $800 million. This
but
should have
whoa,
never
whoa.
happened.
The men's tournament rakes in 800
Yeah,
million. Okay.
but still,
Minus
with,
two.
with the tournament, say what you want. The girls' games getting better and better. They're bigger and stronger.
absolutely.
Hey, how about this little side note? Gonzaga's Jalen Suggs and UConn's Paige Buchers. They've been friends since 9th grade out of the same city in Minnesota where they both led their high school teams to state championships.
And they're both first-round picks.
Those first-round
Yes.
picks, very
Absolutely.
interesting. Hey, we have run out of time. So much more to talk about. Big trades in the NFL, the draft coming up, so much to happen, and interesting things going on. We'll talk about that next week. We'll see you then.